Look in the darkest corners of the internet, and you will eventually find them. They are cast as the ultimate puppet masters, the shadowy figures pulling the strings of the Illuminati, engineering global conflicts, and orchestrating a new world order. These stories are not new. The fixation on the Rothschild family traces straight back to 19th century propaganda. Pamphlets and caricatures, like this 1898 French magazine cover, weaponized old anti-Semitic tropes to depict a single banking dynasty holding the entire globe hostage. Those fictions survived over 2 centuries because they were built around a staggering kernel of truth. The Rothschilds accumulated a level of private, cross-border wealth and political access that no other family in European history had ever achieved. The true story of this dynasty involves no satanic cabals. It is the story of how the global economy was engineered from the ground up, moving fortunes in complete secrecy. To comprehend how a bank can fall to a massive criminal money laundering conviction today, we have to look at how they built their empire in the dark. In the late 1700s, Mayor Amschel Rothschild operated out of the Frankfurt Judengasse, a restricted Jewish ghetto. From these narrow streets, he served as a court factor, managing finances for German royalty, and realized that keeping his wealth in one location made it highly vulnerable to local conflicts. This map shows his solution. He dispatched his 5 sons to establish banking branches in 5 major financial capitals: Frankfurt, London, Paris, Vienna, and Naples. They operated as a single, highly integrated unit. By pooling their capital and running a secretive, proprietary network of couriers, they could move information and credit across borders faster than any state bureaucracy. If a crisis hit Vienna, the London or Paris branches could immediately absorb the shock. This system gave them extraordinary leverage. When Britain faced a severe liquidity collapse in 1825 and its gold reserves were nearly exhausted, Nathan Rothschild's London branch had the international reach to supply enough coined gold to rescue the Bank of England single-handedly. By mastering long-distance communication, pooling capital, and maintaining absolute financial secrecy across borders, the brothers created the architecture of modern multinational banking. For decades, their core business was financing government debt and subsidizing the armies of the Napoleonic Wars. But by the mid-19th century, the family turned its massive capital toward a new, physical frontier, the Industrial Revolution. They began bankrolling enormous infrastructure projects across the continent. James de Rothschild envisioned and financed the Chemin de Fer du Nord, building physical arteries of commerce that culminated in monuments like the Gare du Nord in Paris. They expanded into global resource extraction, securing monopolies on essential metals like mercury. By the late 1800s, the Rothschilds were pouring capital into overseas ventures, taking control of the Rio Tinto copper mines in Spain and becoming the largest shareholders in the De Beers diamond mines in South Africa. Transitioning from invisible ledger keepers to highly visible owners of trains, tracks, and mines made them appear as an untouchable sovereign power. This exact visibility fueled the public terror and the New World Order myths that follow them today. In the 1800s, moving vast sums of money in complete silence was considered good business. Today, the global financial system is governed by aggressive central banks and anti-money laundering watchdogs. The exact tactics that allowed the Rothschilds to rescue empires in 1825, cross-border secrecy, private discretion, and obscure capital origins, are now viewed by regulators as massive criminal liabilities. That structural vulnerability was violently exposed by the 1MDB scandal, a massive fraud where billions of dollars were siphoned out of a Malaysian sovereign wealth fund by corrupt officials. A financial dynasty engineered to thrive in the shadows cannot survive an era that demands absolute ledger transparency. When billions in illicit funds started moving across borders, the old model of asking no questions became a fatal trap. This data flowchart tracks the specific trajectory of the stolen money. Between 2009 and 2013, approximately $472 million of misappropriated Malaysian funds were quietly absorbed into Edmond de Rothschild Europe, a private bank based in Luxembourg. The bank executed the transactions, but completely failed to verify where the funds actually came from. This lack of due diligence triggered devastating multi-year audits by financial regulators in both Switzerland and Luxembourg. After years of investigations, a Luxembourg court handed down a historic ruling in early 2025. The bank pleaded guilty, accepting a €25 million penalty and a formal criminal conviction for money laundering. The family that once dictated terms to desperate monarchs and single-handedly bailed out the Bank of England was publicly humiliated by a team of bureaucratic watchdogs enforcing compliance checklists. The reality of our financial system is not found in secret rituals. It lives in the complex, highly regulated ledgers of international banking, where even the historical architects of global finance can be brought down by a compliance failure.